Okay. We're live on YouTube. Everybody smile. Okay. I want to welcome everybody to Manhattan Community Board 4 Business License and Permits meeting. It's our monthly meeting. Bert Larson, co-chair. Frank Hosenbeck, who is the other co-chair, is not with us. He may join us later on in the meeting. And I want to also thank, before we introduce ourselves, Tina Nelson, who is taking minutes and just talk about any kind of stipulations we want to add for the applicants. Tina will take note of all of this. And I'd like us to introduce ourselves. We're the members of the committee. Don't all rush at the same time.
I am Wendy Gonzalez.
Hi, sorry, my screen is acting weird. I'm Tina Nelson.
Inga Ivchenko, public member.
Candace Hewitt.
Theodore Arenas, community board member.
Peggy Coe, committee member. Carrie Keenan, community member. Board member, committee member.
Yeah.
So Christine Birthday, committee member.
Thank you all. Those of you who are here for the first time, applicants for the first time, our procedure is we ask people to make a presentation. Then we have committee members discuss the application among ourselves, ask questions, and then we look to the community if anybody here from the community has anything to add. We make a recommendation to the full board, and then the full board either accepts our recommendation, modifies our recommendation, rejects our recommendation, changes it, and then they make a recommendation to the state legal affairs. Hopefully, when we include stipulations to the application, the state liquor authority includes those stipulations, adopts those stipulations into the methods of operation of the application. I just want to bring to everybody's attention that unlike in past months, the full board in October will be meeting on the first Thursday of the month. That's because of Jewish holidays. So we're meeting on the first Thursday of the month, which is October 6th at 6 a.m. It will be a Zoom. Okay. We had a large agenda. A number of applicants have postponed. But we'll start with what we call, we put the applications in some kind of order. Okay, so the first application is applications for alteration. It's 242, 244 West 16th Street. The Gray Dog Chelsea. They're seeking to make the current service bar a bar with 7 seats so they can serve customers directly. Is the applicant here, the lawyer?
And Michael Kelly representing the applicant. David Eaton is also here. He's one of the owners.
Okay, go right ahead.
There's an alteration application for Gray Dog Chelsea Inc. doing business as Gray Dog, 242, 244 West 16, between 7th and 8th Avenues. We're making our service bar into a customer bar by adding 7 stools. A lot of customers have requested to sit at the bar, so that's why we're going ahead with this. Everything else is staying the same, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week, 23 tables, 48 seats inside. We have a sidewalk seating on private property with 4 tables, 8 seats. We have street seating with 12 tables, 24 seats, background music. We've been open and operating since 2009. They've had a restaurant wine license from 2009 to August of 2021. We came here last year and we were approved for an on-premise liquor license, which we've been operating under since August of last year. Are there any questions?
Questions from the committee? Any comments? Anybody from the community now?
There's no one with the raised hand.
Okay. Do I hear? are you
Motion
raising
to-
your hand?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yep.
Opposed? Person not eligible? Abstaining. Okay. I think we should go as quickly as that. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, the next part of our agenda are new wine, beer, and cider licenses. Items 2 through 6 on the agenda have been postponed. Those are all venues at Pier 57. Okay, they've been postponed. So we're skipping ahead to item 7. Item 7 is 555 6th Avenue. The Sushi One LLC. Who is the applicant here, the lawyer? Mike, are you the, Mike, you have your hand up.
Yes, I'm sorry. Michael Kelly representing the applicant.
Okay,
Hassan Halami should be here
okay.
from the restaurant.
I'm a little confused, Mike, so maybe you could just start out with helping me be unconfused. Last month, we had an application for that same space called Genius Gems. Seems to be the same space. Do you know what happened? Did you,
We have no clue since we've been operating there since February of 2020. Unless
Correct.
there's another storefront with the same address, which is possible.
oh, okay.
Bert, if you're talking about the like Magna tile place for kids.
So this was the old speaker space, I thought.
Yeah, so it says it's next door to this location.
Okay, same address, but next door.
Yeah, I didn't know they all have the same address, but yeah, it's a little strip there of.
Okay, thanks, Wendy.
Yeah.
My head is clear now. Go ahead, man.
Can we go ahead?
Sure.
It is a restaurant one application for Sushi One LLC. We are going to keep our DBA Sushi One. On the questionnaire, it was changed to Mizuki, but we're going to stay as Sushi One. We're at 555 6th Avenue between West 15th and West 16th. We've been open and operating since February of 2020. We're a full-service sushi bar with 20 tables and 40 seats inside and the service bar. We are participating in the open restaurant seating program with 12 tables and 24 seats on the avenue in the street. There is no sidewalk seating or no plans to have any. We use a third-party delivery service, so we don't have delivery bikes. Our latest hours of operation are 12 p.m. to 1 a.m., 7 days a week. We have background music. The premise was previously licensed by FICA, which was there from December 2015 to November of 2017. They also had a restaurant wine license. And if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
So, I actually have one question. Get a clarification. You've been operating
Yes, since February 2020,
in 2020. Operating as
Sushi One,
without a liquor license.
without a liquor license.
Okay, so that's what okay.
They've been going back and forth with this for a couple of years.
Okay, Wendy and then Tina.
Thanks. So I think it's a nice addition to the neighborhood. My question is around the open seating and the dining shed that's there. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone actually dining in the shed, and it seems like it's actually being used more for storage right now. So I'm just curious when and what the plans are to actually convert that into seating. Thanks.
Hassan, are you on? The owner should be on.
Mary, do you see him?
I do not see him.
Hold on one second. What's the person's name, Michael?
Hassan Halami, Halami.
No, I don't see them on.
I think I see them under attendees. HH, and then there are two folks who have their hands raised as well. But one I think is listed as the owner, Leandro Ansari.
Yes, he would be the other owner.
So could you move them over, Mary?
I'll move both of them over.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Peggy.
Hello. Hello, I'm Leandro. I'm the partner of Hassan Halani. I'm here speaking for Sush One. So anybody, Wendy, do you have a question?
I have a very specific question, Wendy.
Yeah, my question is just around the dining shed that you have out there. I feel like I haven't seen any actual diners in there. I just live around the corner. It seems like it's being used more like for storage right now. So I'm just curious when your plans are of actually turning that into actual seating.
The outside, no, Wendy, you are talking?
The outside.
So I'm traveling tomorrow night. I'm actually today in Brazil, and I'm going to open next week. So with this approval, I will hire the employees to start our operation outside too.
Okay, so hiring enough employees to cover outside, because the dining shed is built. It just doesn't seem to be it's just locked up.
No, it's yes. Since I think it's 2 or 3 months, is ready. We were waiting for this license because everybody told us that liquor license is very important for customers in New York. So we are waiting for this to open the outside. That is why we have that prepared and it's not already open.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Tina and then Peggy.
Hi there. I'm just curious. There were no block associations listed, at least that I couldn't find. And it appears that your hours are you're going to be open later till 1 o'clock than previous establishments. So I'm curious, did you get together with any block associations?
I notified everybody on the list. I included that email when I sent it to Nellie.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
I think about 40 emails were sent, all in one email, which included the questionnaire.
Okay, I must have missed that. Okay, thank you.
Peggy, do you have your hand up? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, and I think, Tina, I think I had the same question too, because I don't think it was actually indicated on the application that the neighborhood associations, where we typically see it, that they have been contacted. But I did want to follow up on Tina's question about the hours. So what are the current operating hours?
Today we are open until 10 p.m.
Until 10 p.m.
Yes.
And so then this would be an extension to 1 a.m. with the liquor license, is that?
Yes, we are going to try it. No, we are going to try. We don't have customers. We are going to close early, but we will try to make the business on the night based on the liquor. No, that is why we are trying to go to until late night.
Okay. And again, it doesn't seem like we heard back from anyone in the neighborhood. I do understand this is on an avenue. You know, it is a busy part, you know, of the neighborhood. So
It's on the avenue. Yes.
It's just something for us, you know, the committee consider. So that's it.
Inga.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, rookie. I know it's on the corner, and I do know when FICA up first applied and had that horrible outside furniture set up, a lot of the residents complained at that time. As long as they don't have a sidewalk cafe, because it is a residential building, I don't see a problem. But I would definitely say no sidewalk cafe there. There are too many residents in that old building upstairs.
Anybody else in the committee?
Yeah, so Bert, have they agreed to close the outside shed by 10 o'clock? Yes?
Okay, no problem, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, just to address what Inga is talking about.
Okay.
Very good. Good point. Anybody else from the committee? Okay, no hands. I see Nellie from the community.
Yes, we have one person, Larry.
Can you hear me? This is Larry Glite.
We can hear you, Larry.
Hi. Okay, I guess I'm unfamiliar with I've been listening to your meeting and trying to join the whole time, not realizing that I guess you had to, put me in, so to speak. Hi, everybody.
Hello, Larry.
So do you
have something to say about this particular applicant?
I am from Little Italy Pizza.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Little people on the community have something to say. So there's nobody for the raised hand out there, no?
No, there's no one.
Okay.
Want to make a motion?
Oh, wait, can we make a motion including the two stipulations, no sidewalk cafe and shed to be closed by 10 p.m.?
Second.
Thank you.
That probably was a resolution that Christine was going to propose.
Yeah.
Good. We're all thinking alike. So we had a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? Present not eligible? Those abstaining. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bert, for the record, Bert, I was aye on the first application as well. I didn't chime in. Yep.
Item number 8 on the agenda, 177 9th Avenue. Another sushi place, Mojo Sushi Chef.
It's right here. It's my name is Max from Mojo Sushi. Hi guys.
And the attorney. Right. Who was speaking? Who was speaking to the applicant?
Hi, like you guys can hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Max? Is that
Yes.
you?
Hi guys. I'm Max from Mojo Makase, Mojo Sushi Chef INC.
Okay. Did you want
Yes.
to tell us something about your operation?
Yes. We opened 2019 November. So we just applied a new legal license because we changed the new business. Before like 3 partners, right now only me. Like the other 2 partners just quit. For the new legal license, only for myself. For the Mojo, this I show you guys. This is like the outdoor bar. We open 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for 7 different weeks. Like the 4-round sushi, 75 minutes. We last sitting like 8:45 to 10. So we close 10. So it's super early. And we use like about 30 minutes for clean the sushi bar and the outdoors. And always people leaving earlier, like nobody drink a lot for the night times after 10. Right here, this is the whole sushi bar here.
Max, just for your information, when we make a recommendation and have hours,
Yes.
10 o'clock is closing time. Nobody in there.
Yes.
No
We
customers. You can
we
clean up,
do
but no customers.
we do the setting time, and after 10 is nobody here. It's always we close very earlier. It's like 10:30, supposed to be 10:30. We clean anything and we just close the restaurant.
I see Carrie has her hand up, and then Inga.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe you want to actually extend your hours a little bit longer so that you have time to have like a last diner there at 10 and then close up the kitchen. And we don't
So-
usually go this direction, but you know, you might want to extend it a little bit, at least inside, not outside, outside 10, but maybe inside 11, just to give
Inside.
yourself some room.
Yes, outside like 10, inside like 11. But usually, because the area here know a lot of people do the late. I mean, this time is just perfect for us for the 10:30.
So you say you want to go for 10:30?
No, usually we finish 10, so we close supposed to be like at 10:30 to supposed to be 10:30. It's super late, like 10:40 like this, because we need to clean or
The
something.
suggestion was just to give you some more flexibility. That was-
Suggesting to give you till 11 inside, so you have some time.
Yes, sometime, but usually not, because sometimes it's about, it's one month, maybe just 1 or 2 days. That's it.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
if it says at 10 on your form, then it has to be 10 all the time. So you might as well say
Okay.
11 inside,
Okay.
then you have
Okay.
some flexibility. You can still close at 10.
Yeah, I mean, we close 10, but we have people clean the kitchen. Yeah, you're right. Clean the kitchen, clean the sushi bar like 10. Supposed to be 11, 10,
Okay.
10:30 to 11. Yes.
11, 11
So would you
it is.
be okay
11
with
it is.
11 in
Next.
the inside, 10 on the outside?
The 10 outside is very easy because it's not much we need to clean. We only have dish needed people do the wash like the 10:30 to 11, and then it's no customers inside.
Right.
We only
Okay.
have people who's working here.
We'll make that, I don't know, will we
11,
make that
11
change?
and 10, done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Inga?
Well, I was gonna say the same thing. You might as well have indoors in case someone's eating and it's 10:15. You want to have a buffer, so say 11 o'clock for the last diner to leave, just in case. The cleaning
Okay.
people can stay later. They can stay forever.
I think we killed this one.
But the diner, if you
Yeah.
have one till 10:30 who's still eating, you can't kick him out. So I would say go with 11.
We're going with 11.
Okay. No, Bravo 11. Yes, Bravo
Mike?
11. That's great.
Mike,
Yeah.
hand up.
Yeah, Christine, we killed this one, yeah?
Yes.
Well, let me just say, the legal consequences of some police officer looking in your window past 10 p.m. and seeing somebody there are catastrophic.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So we're trying to
Okay.
avoid the catastrophe.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Anybody else from the committee? Nellie, anybody from the community?
No, there's no one with the raised hand.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Ed seconds it. Okay.
Wait, so to be clear, we're going to be changing the hours from 10 to 11 p.m. for inside and 10 p.m. outside, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tina, for that clarification. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those not eligible? And those abstaining. Okay, thank you. Cool. Item number 10, 781 9th Avenue, also known as 401 West 52nd Street.
What about 230?
Oh, did I skip 9?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Christine. Okay, 9, 237th Avenue. Okay. Is the applicant, the lawyer here?
Yes. Hi, this is James Lam. It's the legal representative for the company called the Moon and Mob Inc., located at 230 7th Avenue, New York. It's between 24th and 25th Street. The owner actually not here today because she has some emergency, and she actually passed it to me, and I could answer any questions to all the members. The restaurant is a brand new restaurant. The owner just opened. Actually, the restaurant hasn't opened yet because they still have a inspection need to be done in the kitchen. They expect to start probably in the beginning of October to run the business. And the owner also has another restaurant in Manhattan, right on the Lexington Avenue. They are doing the Thai food, and the restaurant actually is only about 10 tables with 20 seats. Majority of the business probably will be takeout. And the business hour is between I think it's from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. The owner just want to serve a little beer with the Thai food. So they try to apply the beer and wine license to start the business. And they do have a delivery. They planning to have one person using a bicycle delivery. And we understand we have to follow the bicycle rule. So this is pretty much the operations.
Thank you. Christine?
Yes, I think you may have a little confusion on page 5 of the application, because you are saying that you have a vestibule inside the establishment, but you are also going to have a storm enclosure, which is a vestibule outside. So I presume you are not going to have one on the outside.
No, sorry,
right.
Not at
so
all.
We'll fix that in the stipulation.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments from committee members? All right, anybody out there?
Oh, Tina, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Tina's first.
Oh, Tina and Carrie, okay.
I'll defer to you, Carrie, if you want.
Well, I was going to ask the same question about the hours. Did you want 9:30 is pretty early. Did you want to extend that to 10 or?
Absolutely, yeah.
A little bit later, maybe?
A little bit later, yes. Maybe 10 is good, of course, yeah. Later.
It's New York City. Sometimes people order takeout at 10
Yes.
o'clock.
Yes, especially on 23rd Street, it's busy street, yeah.
So then what would you like to change the hours?
Probably we could extend it to 10 p.m. 11?
11 inside, 10 outside?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I will let the owner know. She must be happy, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there were a couple of places where you didn't provide responses. So let me just check those. Sorry. On page 2.
Page 2, okay.
Yeah, how many floors are there? What is the capacity for each floor? And how frequently will the owners be at the restaurant?
I believe the store has, I think the capacity is about 30 inside. That's what we put into the application.
Is it just one floor?
It's a one floor, correct? Yes.
So we can say one floor. And how often will you be at the establishment?
The owner will be there at least 5 days a week because she's a chef, So she will be there, and also she planning to have another sous chef in there to helping her to take turn. Maybe another person will be 4 days. So I would say at least 5 days a week she will be there.
Okay, when you say that, there's a question, where will delivery bikes be stored during the day when not in use? You say in store. Can we just indicate inside the store?
I think normally they leave the bike inside the front door there, so there has a little space there. So it's more safe because I'm not so sure the bicycle has any bicycle stand could lock the bicycle outside, so that I do not know, This is what I got the answer from the owner,
So it's inside the store.
Yeah, it will be the inside. Only one bicycle, yes.
Okay, and just quickly on page 6.
Okay.
There's a question, will the service and consumption of alcohol in any outdoor space only be by seated food service? And I guess that wasn't answered.
Yeah, this should be no. Yeah.
Should be.
Because they do not have outdoor.
Oh, there's no outdoor at
No
all.
outdoor
It's
at all.
not applicable.
Okay, sorry.
It's NA. I think I put it down. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not an issue because it's not outdoor. Okay. And then if amplified sound is played inside the establishment, it says, will windows and doors be closed? And you say no.
I don't think there will be a very loud music, be honest with you. I think it's only a very soft background music. I believe they are not really trying to be like a bar, They want to serving like a very small dining area with very soft music, and that's it,
Okay, because it mentions amplified sound. So it's not.
So probably it's not applicable either, also, I think. Because I think they are using just the iPad, that kind of player inside the restaurant. So,
Okay, just to shorten this. So if amplified sound is played inside the establishment, do you agree to close the windows?
yes, of course.
Perfect. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, Tina. It's a thorough reading. Thank you. Nellie, do we have anybody out there?
There's no one with a raised hand.
Do I hear a motion that incorporates?
Yeah, motion with all the small changes we discussed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Those abstaining. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Now we're moving on to number 10. 781 9th Avenue, also known as 401 West 52nd. We have the applicant, a lawyer. Is there an applicant for number 10? A lawyer present?
Bert, there's someone that's listed as an attendee with their hand raised. Let's see.
See who that is.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. And
Hi.
you are,
I'm the applicant, Rakesh Chandiramani from GVI Casalula. Nice to meet you guys. I was in the attendee panel, so thanks for moving me over.
okay.
All right. Just by way of introduction, my name is Rakesh Chandiramani. We are the applicant and also the going to be the purchaser of the business Casalula Wine and Cheese Bar, which has been just a neighborhood staple, for the last 15 years or so. My team and I, we also own and operate Vinci Aubin Wine Bar, which is a small chain of French wine bars across the city for the last 12 years, as well as Jack's Stir Brew Coffee. Over the last several months, we've been working with Brian and team just to make sure that Casalula remains a destination in the neighborhood, as it has for well over a decade. In fact, Brian and Chef Jen will be staying on the business, as we felt it was super important for them to remain in place, but obviously just expanding the operating team to make sure that we can continue to serve the community. So I know there's a small write-up yesterday in West 42nd Street just to perhaps introduce us into the business, but nevertheless, I'm going to maintain Casalula as Casalula. So it'll just be the existing operations and just a continuity of the business.
Talk about continuity of the business. Your hours, you're asking for 7 days a week, 2 a.m. closing. Casalula did not have that 2 a.m., 7 days a week. They had various closings in different nights, 11, 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday with their latest, 12 o'clock Tuesday to Thursday. What's your need to go to 2 o'clock? I'm asking that specifically for what had previously, but also the local block association has some major concern about the 2 a.m. And I know they'd like to sit down and talk with you guys, but that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, there's, I mean, there isn't any, I guess you can call it a specific aspect of our operations. It's just more, having the flexibility to operate until 2 a.m. in the event that there are guests that are enjoying their glass of wine and a meal up until that time frame. We generally, according to our operations and the time that I've been able to spend with Brian and Casalula, the evenings tend to wrap up anywhere between 12 and 1 a.m. So just having that extra buffer, that flexibility, but we typically, don't make it that long into the evening.
Yeah, I have a question for the outdoors. Are you planning to have a sidewalk cafe?
There isn't enough room to maintain a sidewalk cafe, but the dining shed will remain in place.
So you have there is a dining shed, right?
There's an existing dining shed, yes.
Right. And the hours are 10 o'clock, close at 10 o'clock, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, because we don't have any, I don't think we have any information on that in the application.
Yeah, the dining shed, operates with the open restaurants program. But I believe it's either 10 or 11 o'clock where they close up the dining shed.
Right. Well, we like to ask for 10. So as you have heard from the other restaurants.
That's fine.
Okay. So that was my question.
No problem.
Do you have any intention of meeting with the block association people?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any intention of meeting with the block association?
Absolutely, yeah. We like I said, the whole intention is to make sure that the destination remains as is, and it's been a community staple for several years. I'm more than happy to continue to meet with them and answer any questions that they have. So as far as I know, there hasn't been any specific concerns, and Brian and team have run a business with no violations over the last several years, and we have a clean record ourselves. I have 8 liquor licenses in my name with not one complaint or one violation.
I'm not referring to any complaints about the existing operation. I'm referring to the block association, again, has concerns of 2 a.m., 7 days a week.
Okay.
Really, I think we all would appreciate if you sat down and talked to them. Heard what they have to say.
Bert, your sound is disappearing a little bit.
Is it better if I'm close up?
Yeah, it's still a little underwater.
Sorry about that. So Christine, did you hear what I had to say?
No, I said what I had to say, and then I heard you. I think Tina is next, right?
Yeah. Tina?
Yeah, I have a bit of a problem here only because I believe there is a desire for you to meet with the block association. So I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable at this point going forward. So I don't know if there's anybody in the gallery here, but I have to say I'm not comfortable because there was an express desire to meet with you.
I agree.
We did receive an email from the block association.
I didn't receive anything directly to myself.
Is that loud and clear?
I didn't receive any communication directly to myself. if it came to our attorney, I'm happy to check with him. But is the only concern the closing hours?
The 2 a.m. 7 days a week is a major.
Well, but they also have concerns about windows, etc. And we don't know what are the concerns because the meeting has not taken place. So
There's no open windows. There's no French windows, French doors. The windows are closed.
I'd like to hear from Inga and Carrie.
Without the community's input, I prefer that they have the same hours. And then in a year, if they're good neighbors, perhaps they can come back, or sooner or later. That's what I would suggest. The same hours, same closing hours.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie?
That's what I was going to suggest. After meeting with the community, you can come back.
Sure, happy to.
Well, let's be clear about what that means coming back and what we do now. Okay. The Block Association meets, and tell me if I'm not being heard. The Block Association meets the end of this month. So we would like you to meet with the Block Association at the end of, but reach out to them and meet with them. And I would like to withhold our recommendation until that meeting takes place.
That's fine. Not a problem, guys.
But Bert, shouldn't we vote on like an amendment here, and then it can be overridden at the full board by whatever is the Block Association say?
Okay, that's a good way to proceed, Christine. Thank you.
Right.
So
Very good.
is the question, would you agree to the original closing hours you have and meeting with the Block Association?
Yeah, we can, if I'm fine agreeing to the original closing hours, and then I would like the opportunity to meet with the Block Association, explain ourselves as operators, and then, answer any questions or concerns that the community has, just to make sure that there's obviously a level of comfort with us and the business going forward. Not a problem.
As you heard, we appreciate that meeting.
Of course.
And the meeting will be before the full board coming together in October. So you're meeting with them, and whatever comes out of that, maybe we'll be able to modify those hours.
Happy to work with everybody.
That seem good, Tina?
Can I just review what we're going to be putting in the STIP, just for clarity? No sidewalk cafe, dining shed closes at 10 p.m. Keep closing hours the same, and meet with the Block Association before the full board meeting in October.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
then we can vote on it today.
We
Yes.
vote on this today.
Right.
So motion with those.
Sorry, I don't know if we had community, heard from the
Okay,
community. Sorry.
Nellie?
No, there's no one with the raised hand, but I do have a question. What are the original hours?
The original hours, go ahead.
I
Oh,
have
sorry.
11 p.m. closing Sunday and Monday, 1 a.m. closing Friday and Saturday, and 12 a.m. closing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Completely.
Okay, thank you.
So I make a motion with those specifications as expressed by Tina and Neely.
I second.
Second,
Okay. All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? And how's that changed? Thank you. We'll see you in October after you visit with the board, with the Block Association.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 11, 383 West 31st Street, Gift, New York.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Heather Kirk from Heilbronn and Levy. I'm here as well with Tayoshi Sato. He should be on the call as well.
I have one question before you go further.
Of course.
According to our records, you were here in 2019.
So I was gonna bring this up, actually. This
Okay.
is for the Moynihan Food Hall. This is one of the vendors located in the food hall. We came before the community board last year, actually, in July of 2021, and received a positive resolution with stipulations. I don't know about the 2019, because this is for the food hall.
Okay.
But this was for 2021 last year. We were delayed in filing our application, and because of that, the notice has expired. It's only good for 270 days, which is why we re-notified and we're back before you guys tonight. But nothing has changed in the application. Everything's still the same. This is a concept located within the food hall at Moynihan train station. Midnight closing hours. I will say that there's one clarification I would like to make on the application, page 2. The question about deliveries, we said yes, but it's actually no. There are no deliveries and there's no bikes. Apologies for that error.
Thank you. Questions from committee people? Anybody in the community know?
No, there's no one.
Okay.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstained. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, item number 12 has been postponed. So now we're in the new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license applications. Item 13, 303 West 42nd Street. MSK Little Italy Pizza Corp. Is that you, Larry?
Yes, that's me.
Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me well enough?
Yes.
Okay. So we're a group that owns approximately 14 Little Italy pizzerias throughout Manhattan. They're typical New York style pizzerias with counter service only. We are applying for a beer and wine license only, not full liquor. We've been very successful from uptown to downtown. We've been doing this for like 30 years. Like, as I said, typical New York pizzeria. I'm one of the principals. I happen to be a CPA, so I handle all the compliance issues and all the tax filings and a lot of the things that fall under that umbrella. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with our other locations, as there are many Little Italy pizzas in New York. But we have 3 other locations with beer and wine licenses. The others do not have beer and wine.
Nellie, is there any reason that we have them under new liquor, wine, beer, cider licenses?
Pardon me?
No, so you're not asking for a full license, you're only asking for a wine and beer.
Correct.
Okay. I guess we had you in the wrong category down here.
Okay.
That's why I was asking now if there's any reason. Any questions from the committee? Anybody from the community, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Okay. Motion?
To approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining? Okay.
Nellie, that was an aye for me.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
14, 509 West 34th Street.
That's me,
Okay,
Bert.
that's you, Max.
That last case was mine too. That might have been our fault. We may have sent in a 30-day notice as full liquor, but he's beer and wine only. That might be why it's on the wrong category. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right, so,
This is an office building, right?
sorry.
This is
Yes, this is the Spiral. So good evening, CB4. My name is Max Bookman. It's nice to see all of you again. With me is Amir Sperling from Tishman Spire. And tonight we have a liquor license application at the Spiral, which I'm sure everybody knows. It's that new office tower. And it's almost done with construction now near Hudson Yards on 34th and 10th. It's the one with the very noteworthy spiral shape architecture, the terraces going all the way up. So there's going to be 4 liquor licenses eventually in this building. This application tonight is the first of 4. Throughout the upcoming months and years, you'll get the other 4, but this is the first tonight. We met with Frank about a month ago to tell him about the programming and the liquor licensing at the building, but we focused our discussion on the first license, so he would have some sense of what we'd be applying for tonight, and I'm happy to share that with everybody now. So this license is for the 66th floor, which is the top floor of the building. It's several hundred feet up in the air. It's so high up in the air that it's not subject to the 500-foot law, because the 500-foot law goes vertically as well. The space has 2 components to it, and we showed the floor plans. On the bottom half of the space on the floor plans is a typical building amenity cafe. It's gonna have couches and coffee tables. It's gonna have a food counter with, where you could get 3 meals a day. It's not a full service restaurant, but you can get things like, grain bowls and salads and coffee and sandwiches and things like that. Non-alcoholic beverages, alcoholic beverages as well. The other component of the space on the top half of the floor plans is a conference center with rentable configurable rooms. There's like, an executive board room, set up. It could be set up for lecture style seating, etc. And it could be rented. The conference center piece could be rented for private events. We could have multiple events going on at the same time. If there's, small events happening, the entire space, if we want, could be rented out for a private event if we're not going to use it on a particular evening for the normal amenity in the normal amenity use. So it's a single liquor license that covers the entire space. We're asking for 2 a.m. 7 days a week. That's primarily to accommodate late night events that we may be able to book. There is a tiny outdoor terrace. It's the top terrace of the Spiral. A handful of people out there would feel crowded. In our sound report, there's some photos of it. You can see what it looks like right now. It's a small space. When we met with Frank, he thought it'd be a good idea for us to get a sound study done, so we did. I do have a correction. On page 6 of our application, we say that we're going to follow your usual STIP and close the outdoor space when you typically ask us to. We'd rather actually not do that, and we'd like to. It's such a small space, and it's 66 floors in the air, several hundred feet in the air. You look at the sound study, there's no way for the use of that space to impact anyone who lives anywhere near there. So we'd like to be able to have people to be able to go out on that space at the same hours of operation that we have the indoor space, so that they can take in the views outside if they want. There's no special programming that goes on out there. It's too small. So with that, I will pause, and Amir and I are happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Questions? Christine, then Carrie.
That sounds all terrific. So if the hours are extended to 2, do you commit that, and Amir, do you commit that none of the other outdoor space will go to 2?
When you say none of the outdoor, you mean the other terraces in the Spiral?
Yes, because we have been there before where we created one, precedent, and then everybody said, oh, okay, it's like that across the street. So we need to decide whether you want all of them to.
Well, I will say, Christine, that the other 3 liquor licenses that you're going to see in this building on the ground floor, sidewalk level, and so those don't involve the terraces. We're not planning on liquor licenses in anywhere between the ground floor and the and this application, which is on the 66th floor. Frank did ask us if any of our tenants may on their own apply for like a catering license, and we're not sure if they will or not. We just don't know. You know, I don't know what to say about those hypothetical applications that may or may not happen. But the other three that we're planning are on ground floor. They're not on the terraces.
Mm-hmm. And is there really a need for, I agree that it's on the 66th floor. I agree that this one is completely, will not really impact anyone. We agree on that. We're just concerned, as you know, about precedent setting. So we need to make sure that the others, whatever happens on the rest of the building is not happening. And that the next time there is an application across the Hudson Yard on the other side, we're not going to use that as a reference.
Well, look, across the street is 30 Hudson Yards, where, I think that's the precedent you're talking about.
Right.
I think that as it's played out, this committee is smart and savvy enough to be able to distinguish, between, legitimate reasons to make an exception versus people just saying, oh, well, you gave them later hours, how come you can't give it to us as well? I mean, there's, okay, you put your finger on it. 66 floor, tiny space. I mean, it's it's not going to bother me.
Just made my case.
Thank you, Max, for having that kind of faith in us, in our professionalism. Carrie.
Yeah, I just wonder what's right below you?
10th Avenue.
No. Not all the way below you.
The 65th floor.
Yeah.
Oh, what's on the floor below us? Amir, could you answer that?
Absolutely, and good to be with all of you this evening. The 65th floor and 64 down are all ordinary office floors, so they'll be occupied by office tenants, office workers.
Okay, thanks. And just to clarify, Christine, you're talking about the alcohol service outside past to 2 a.m., but on the phone.
No, I'm just.
Or just the sound, amplified sound, or all
Well,
of
I
it
was
in
just
general?
talking about the fact that generally we like to keep the outdoor space closed by, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that's all.
Because one thing I'm struck by on the application is that it says that you will have amplified sound after 10. Which I appreciate the fact that you're being very straightforward about it, but yeah.
But they did a sound study for that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I wouldn't come in here asking for that if it wasn't such a small space. And that's really what I'm putting that's really the basket that I'm putting all my eggs in here. It's just such a small space that's so high up in the air. It's, we don't want to have to, just close it off artificially when, during normal operations or during an event, when it's really just such a small space to begin with. And so that's why I think it's grounds to ask for what, normally if it was even a slightly larger space, I think would be unreasonable, which is, having amplified sound out there or operating, later than what you usually request. I think just based on where it's located, how high up in the air it is, how tiny it is, I think, if that gives the members of this committee comfort, which I hope it does, then I think that would be grounds to, make an exception here.
Yeah.
I'm just merely clarifying. You're referring to normally the establishment outdoors closing at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, and now we're going to say that you can close at 2 a.m. So given that, and this is addressed to our committee members, would it be appropriate to say something in the stipulation to say that this is limited to this 66th floor establishment and will not be considered precedent in any other, or do you want to leave that out?
I see no reason why not to have that in.
I'm sorry?
I see no reason why not to have it in.
So I should add it in.
Let's see, what other people think?
Well, let's say if they want to.
Okay.
Well, but I don't know that you can do that to other unrelated people. 65th floor, 67th floor. I mean, if I come in and I don't take this attorney who we see all the time, but there are others, and I come as a separate person and I'm on the 65th floor, it's a separate application completely. You can't do that.
I mean,
Absolutely, but we're just,
legally or morally.
I mean, to Tina's point, I mean, just for whatever my 2 cents is worth, and what I've seen other community boards do in a situation like this would be not have the applicant stipulate to that, because to Inga's point, I can't, stipulate, bind some other applicant, but to put it in your resolution so that it's public, to say, we're approving them, but let the world know that, future applicants shouldn't rely on this because this is a special set of circumstances. That way that if someone else comes on the 10th floor and says, well, we want what's on the 66th floor, you could say, well, if you did a drop of research and saw our resolution on there, you would have known that, we wouldn't be susceptible to, or really see that argument very favorably.
that's what I meant. Thank you.
That sounds good.
Something about the unique
Thank you,
environmental
Mac.
conditions of the 66th floor and the size of this terrace. Mike?
No, Inga's point is well taken, and I agree with Max. This is how we do it, okay?
Yeah.
We're not gonna condemn everybody else in the world.
Can't.
Right. No, you can't. Legally, you cannot.
No, but
All
it's just explaining the decision, that's all. But if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Body of the resolution.
Yeah, right.
Explaining the decision is very good.
Yeah, good.
Anybody
Done.
else in the committee has anything to say? If not, the community, Nelly?
Motion to approve.
Wait, hold on, please, Inga?
There's no one with the raised hand.
No?
No.
Okay. Go ahead with your resolution.
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah.
Second,
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
Those opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining. Okay.
Thank you
Moving
very
on.
much, and we'll send Nellie that amended page 6 that, that shows that the hours of operation for the outdoor space will be the same as the inside space. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now staying in Hudson Yards neighborhood, 500 West 33rd Street.
Good evening, Community Board 4, Ben Savitsky of Bernstein, Reno and Savitsky. This is on behalf of Lost Events, Inc. Good to see everybody. So this is an application for a winter seasonal license. It's for a space that will be operated as a holiday themed show. The entity is Lost Events, Inc. They've been doing business as Santa's Secret. The space is it's in the shop and the restaurants at Hudson Yards. It's the large mall-like building. The address is 500 West 33rd Street or 20 Hudson Yards. It's on the 5th floor. It's fully enclosed in the mall. As noted, it's for the winter, so it doesn't run year round. It's November through May, but we're actually only using it until January when the holiday season ends. This concept of a holiday themed event is from Brandon Voss. He's the principal on the license and he's here tonight. Brandon previously held this show in this exact same space last year, and he obtained catering permits. It was the same exact everything. He's now secured a commitment from Hudson Yards for a longer deal for the space, and he hopes to bring this back every year if it continues to be successful, and we have no reason to think it won't. Santa's Secret is a holiday-themed burlesque and cabaret variety show. There's an immersive holiday decor where actors and dancers in snow globes kind of create a winter landscape for patrons to walk through, and then employees and entertainers dance and sing, and they do acrobatics. It's not for children. It is an adult event as far as 21 plus. The shows roughly last about 2 hours. It starts with about 10 to 15 minutes of walking through this winter landscape I just described. Each performer in the show kind of does their own performance in their own space as people walk through this wonderland. There's a diagram in the packet that we presented, and you can see kind of like a curved path where each performer will set up. Once patrons walk through, they're seated in a showroom where a performance takes place. Patrons can order food and drink at their table from the main bar. And while they wait for the show, there's a live band that performs Christmas-themed music. The show then has each entertainer come out and perform. One does acrobatics, another sings, there's dancing, and then patrons leave at the conclusion of the show. The space in total has 2 bars. Both bars are in this performance center. There are 99 tables and 380 seats. Tickets are sold for the event, so everybody who comes in is seated at a table. There's no standing room. They do 2 shows a day. The hours of operation here that we're asking for are 6 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. daily, except on Sunday when we end at 9:30 p.m. As I mentioned, they have a live band in addition to the recorded music, and that is for the singing performances and also for the ambiance before the show. We have no outdoor space. There are no operable windows. This is all enclosed on the 5th floor. With that, I could open it up to questions.
Anybody from the committee? Questions? Comments? I see none. From the community, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Resolution, Tina?
Just quickly, I didn't get to scroll through. It says that there's a sound engineer report. Oh yeah, I see it. Sorry, ignore it. I'm okay. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Multiple seconds, multiple motions initially. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Present not eligible. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
17, 357 West 16th Street, Amigos Hospitality. Is there anybody?
Hello? Can you hear me?
No, did I skip? I'm sorry, I think I skipped again.
You did, Frank. 350 West 50th, isn't, do we do that?
I'm shorter, I'm good. 350 West 50th Street.
Oh, we skipped that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. We go back to 350 West 50th Street.
Good evening.
Piero?
Yes, sorry. Good evening to everybody. I'm Piero Massimino. I represent the principals. There is with us Mr. Nicolas Pandelli, who is speaking from Argentina right now. And he is happy to speak with you, but please bear with him because his English is not as good as you think he is. So I'm here also for this reason. Besides being an attorney myself and an attorney for the company, although the for completion of information, the liquor license is handled by the excellent Bob Romano, whom I'm sure you all know. But if you allow me, I will be speaking for them and answer to your question. So we start presenting the business. Barry's Grill is, as the word itself says, is a concept of an Argentinian fine dining steakhouse, and they have 6 locations already open in Miami. In the notice to the interested parties, I put also a link to the restaurant in Miami so that you could see what kind of operations they have in mind. And I like you to check the Miami Beach location, which in terms of design and elegance is what they plan to do in the store in reference here. The building, the store was occupied previously by a restaurant, a Korean barbecue restaurant named Ban, that unfortunately closed as many during COVID. And I believe that Barry's Grill retaking this store will make also service to the neighborhood. I'm sure that you are familiar with Worldwide Plaza and how it looks after a certain hour and how it used to look during COVID. The fact that there will be this kind of restaurant there will certainly make a service to the way the entire area looks. We do intend to apply for outdoor, the open restaurant program on West 50th Street. In the plaza, there is the possibility to occupy space that is adjacent to the restaurant. That depends on the easement and depends also on the permits from the landlord itself. Being a tough lease negotiation with the landlord, so basically we don't have a firm agreement on how much space we can take. They will play it by the ear with us, and we had to agree to it. But we assume that we will have, allow me to open it. We will have on the square 5 tables and 18 seats. And with the open restaurant on the sidewalk, 6 tables and 24 seats, and on the roadway, 5 tables and 30 seats. That's based on an architect drawing that has been sent to Mrs. Nelly when we did the application. Oh, excuse me for the background noise. As you can imagine, I'm home. Is there we have asked for a 1 o'clock opening time. It's very optimistic that there would be any activity in the restaurant. It would serve as a sort of buffer, as I heard mentioned before, for patrons that are staying over a little longer. I understand that there is a concern about noise, and we are willing to stipulate no outdoor background music whatsoever, and closed door after 10 p.m. That's and as part of the application, it was originally included also DJ and live music. DJ was included by mistake because the person that was asked assumed that somebody playing music from an iPad was being a DJ, which is not the case for the purpose of the application. Live music is not something that belongs to the concept. It was added as in case they decided to have a tango trio playing at the opening or in special occasions. But and anyway, even if it's done, we would certainly agree to do it inside only and with closed door. But again, it's not part of the kind of experience that they plan to offer.
Thank you. I think for me, there's another issue here, again, about meeting with the block association and the community.
I'm not sure, but I hope you will excuse me here. I have received an email from somebody who had received our notice and invited us to participate to another meeting, to which I gave my polite availability. I did not understand that this could be an issue whatsoever for the. I even shared that with the attorney, and if you don't mind sharing with me the implication of that, I would be happy to address it.
I think you're referring to the 4954th Street Block Association.
Well, it was an acronym, but there was a number 95 in it. I can share that with you.
Well, anyway, I'm referring to the Block Association, 49 to 54. Steve Belita is the president. They sent us a note saying they would like to meet with you. Again, they're having a meeting towards the end of this month. So that's really very important for us to meet with them. They express their concerns. They have particular concerns about some of the outdoor seating, if possible, on the street.
In the email exchange that I had with them, they asked for no open doors, which we're not going to have. So that's perfectly easy to address. I assume that we were going to discuss this in this instance, in this meeting.
They were wondering about outdoor dining on 50th Street with the 44 seats. Okay, Christine and Tina.
Yeah. So just to clarify, Piero, this is our procedures that people meet with the community, with the block, so which are going to be the people living right next to the establishment. And then we get a feedback from them and because they know what's happening on the street, they know better than we do, so they really know what's going on. They are the expert about their street. So I have a number of questions about the outdoor seating. First, the one on the street, the regulation, the parking regulations say no standing. And that's one of those where I doubt that the DOT is going to approve your outdoor seating. There is also a utility plaque, which is an access to utilities. And normally they do not agree to installation when there is a utility access. So I want to put you on concern that I'm not sure you're going to get that approved. Second, I'm not the one approving, I'm just telling you.
No,
there is a good chances that you're not getting approved. On the sidewalk, you are showing 5 feet, but then 5 feet, then there is no serving aisle. And so essentially you are cutting it very, very close. And the rest of the sidewalk has grades on it, conediscent grade. So the whole of sidewalk is conediscent grade. And in the normal sidewalk cafe guidelines, not what is in place now, they would have required 3 feet distance from the conediscent crates. So I'm personally not in favor of the way you have designed that. At best, you could have 1 table. The table should be 2 tops instead of 4 tops. And still, it would be very narrow. And so that is my concern.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time in that area. I can't imagine how there is space for what you're talking about. And frankly, even driving in that area, I agree with Christine. I cannot see anything on your side of the block. But other than that, right above you is this huge residential area. And of course, there's that courtyard, but that courtyard is right now very quiet, where a lot of people go and talk. I've been there a lot. So I appreciate the fact you say no DJ and live music indoors and hope that it won't be outdoors, but I have several concerns about this. And again, I'm just a little bit uncomfortable that you didn't meet with any block associations, because it sounds like you're willing to work with people, but bottom line is if I have concerns and I live several blocks away, I'm sure people who live above and across the street, they have concerns.
I like to answer to the last item and then maybe in reverse. For my willingness our willingness to meet with the block association was expressed. You will excuse the fact that I thought that this meeting was going to be also the most important part of working with the neighborhood. But I did reply to the email and the invitation that I received from the block association, and I answered the best I could, and I offer my willingness to participate, and I will participate to that meeting. I thought that the person that sent the email was going to be here present as well, but that's maybe me mistaking the process. But having said that, I'm going to participate to that encounter, and I will. We have notified all the interested parties in the notice. The other thing that I wanted to answer is about the outdoor permits. Of course, we are not going to place table wherever we are not authorized to. That drawing has been done by our architect. So we will have to discuss with the architect whether your concerns are well addressed. But by all means, should we fail to get a permit for placing tables on the street, we will simply not do that, because most license I'm familiar with do express no alcohol outside without permit. Was there any other thing that I forgot that you mentioned that you would like me to address again? Yes, the residential building above. I understand the concern for noise or disturbance, and I believe that we can absolutely agree to no background music outside. I do not think that the restaurant the seating outside would be a nuisance because of the kind of restaurant. I believe it would actually add to the pleasantness of the resident as well, because the idea of the restaurant is also to beautify the facade and to bring what I would define a good kind of crowd in the neighborhood. An amount of light in corners that are now a bit dark, I think. If I understood correctly, though, you think that the parties that are best versed to address these are actually the block, that are the ones that I'm supposed to meet at the end of the month.
We have some more committee people, Inga and Ted.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
You're muted.
Sorry, I muted. I don't think that him not meeting with the Block Association yet, since he did respond and is willing to, I don't think that should affect our decision tonight unless someone from the community is here to speak strongly against it. The only thing I have to say is I know that there is an interior door that the residents, that connects you to the residential part. Is that door still there?
I don't think there is.
That goes into the stairwell for the residential in your restaurant?
I believe if there is, it's like a legal mean of exit or some kind of.
Right.
But there's no direct access that
Correct.
I can think of.
I know that on the previous stipulations, they agreed to alarm it and not let patrons in and out that way.
By all means,
that's
yes.
the only thing, so that they don't disturb the residents in that stairwell.
By all means, yes.
Okay.
Hey, I just wanted to share a little bit of information because I was at the New York City Hospitality Alliance meeting this morning, and they're advising, like a lot of the restaurants that's considering to do outdoor spaces in the street area, to hold off because they're going to be changing the laws. Most likely it's getting pushed back to spring even further. And as you know, liquor license, the SLA is actually backlogged 7 months. So about time you get your license, it might not be worth investing in your money at this time. And also just to comment on what Tina said, they used to have like a taco place out there that was absolutely full with outdoor seating. And I don't remember them ever having any complaints, that building, from that one there. So I think that would be a minimum impact to have, you know, some of the smaller tables on the side. But for the 56th Street area, I think it might be too narrow, especially with Christine saying about the utility event there. And I would definitely hold off until more information, because I would hate to see you build all this money into a nice structure into the street and then not be able to use it because the new laws haven't been set into place yet.
The communication we got from the, excuse me, the HK 4954th Street Block Association, they seemed to say they had no objections to the plaza seating, but they had major concerns about the street seating, the seating on 50th Street.
Right.
And they asked us to postpone making a final decision until we met with Block Association towards the end of this month. And that was their request. They had, that major concern was the seating on 50th Street, and they wanted to talk to you about that.
Again, I don't know if they sent you the same communication that they sent me, but their only concern was agreeing to close door after 10. By closed door, I assume that they mean
Yeah,
no.
they were concerned about that, but they're also concerned about the 50th Street seating. Okay, Ted, you still have your hand up? Christine, Tina?
Tina?
Hi there. I don't want to belabor the point too much, but the restaurants that were in that spot closed at 10:30, 11:30, and now you're asking for a 1 a.m. closing. I just want to make sure that if there's any live music, I know you said no DJ, but I am concerned about a 1 a.m. closing and live music.
We can stipulate no live music either,
Okay.
if that's a major concern.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Peggy, Christine, your hands are still up.
Yeah, I just, based on what Ted just said, I think really I would have a strong inclination to not approve any outdoor seating, at least in the on the sidewalk.
If I may, not approving any outdoor seating on the street side would be highly damaging to the restaurant, and I'm sure you can understand and sympathize with that. If there are limitations to the amount of seats that we want to put, we will certainly respect those limitations by zoning or by Department of Transportation's code. I defer to you, but I would ask you to allow us to put tables on the side of 50th Street.
Well, I mean, you know, I personally,
if allowed to,
I don't have a problem with the in the street, in the roadway. I just don't know whether it's going to fly. And then Ted makes a very good point that the guidelines could be different. I have personally a very strong concern with the setup on the sidewalk, and I don't think it's leaving enough space for people. And there is no serving aisle, and there is no space to walk. So I think I'm not in favor of it, period.
Would you agree to a layout that respects the guidelines that are or will be set by the city or the Department of Transportation?
I don't think I can speak about that, but we had our community board has had long standing of guidelines that we have used for those things, which are giving pedestrian enough space. And these are the one I would stick with, but I'm only one person out of the whole committee. I mean, you know, this is not, I'm just making my position known to Bert and everyone else. I'm not the one to negotiate everything.
I was thinking whether there could be a solution that would satisfy you first and then the rest of the board.
Let's see, I see we have Ted, I don't know if your hand is still up. Yes, Peggy, and then Candace.
I just wanted to say, maybe for the sake of moving forward and with respect to the block association, if the applicant can agree to get rid of the seats on 50th Street that are in the traffic area, and maybe like just 2-seaters across that aren't blocking any, electrical things that we might have to use, that maybe we can consider that, and they can go to, like we did with the last applicant, they can go to the block association and we can come to some sort of agreement before the full board.
In other words, you're saying reduce the 54 to some other lower number.
Let me clarify that. Are you suggesting 2 tops on the sidewalk?
I was saying if everyone's okay with just 2 tops on 50th Street and you get rid of the street seating because we don't know if that's going to be there, as long as it's not blocking any utility packages that we need. That way, about time the spring comes around, we can get a better layout of what the new guidelines are, and he doesn't have to wait a new whole year or 7 months just for the 6 tables. I don't think that
I could live with that.
I agree with you, Ted.
Yeah, Peggy, Candace, Mike.
Yeah, but I just wanted to highlight, there are some questions on the application, just kind of our standard questions that aren't answered, things like closing hours, moving furniture. So these are just things we can work out when we're going through our final decision.
Are there not the closing hours?
The closing hours are 12 to 2, Sunday and Monday. Where am I? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the right place. 1 a.m., 7 days a week. That's what we have.
Sorry, I mean in the section of our application related to outdoor seating.
Outdoor, okay.
Sidewalk section, the indoor, there's just certain questions, like those questions that are unanswered, so.
10 p.m., right? Like the rest of them?
10 p.m. is our standard. Candace?
And no music, obviously.
Yeah. Candace?
I also had a question about the application. It said you're changing the facade. What are you doing to the facade?
Well, there's some rendering that would decorate rather than change the facade, and that have to be agreed with the landlord first. There are sketches, nothing definite, but those would be improvement to the general look rather than a structural change. There's the idea of putting a, I don't know how I can explain it, but basically something with plants, changing the if allowed. Also, now the frames of the doors have this orange kind of color. They would like to paint it black. Maybe changing the lighting outside with some more fashionable lamp post, something of the sort. No alteration. Alteration is probably not the right word for the purpose of the application.
Okay, and my question is to the board. When we were talking about the 50th, are we on the 50th side street seating? I agree that there probably should just be two seaters or none at all of the seating on 50th Street, but inside the plaza area against their building, are we still wanting to keep those 18 seats, or is that?
You know, Bert, I don't know that. I think it would be a good question to pose to.
That's private property, I think.
Yeah, but no, it was a public. It was a public plaza, and there are some restriction about. And I remember that it's a public plaza, and there are some restriction, but I don't know the restrictions. So I think
I don't either, but I'm sure the landlord does.
Yeah, or the land use committee definitely would know about that.
If I may, there's yes, the architect looked at the easements and designed that, but there was also another opinion that said we could get more space, so it could go between the 18 seats that we showed in the layout to maybe some more. But again, is really depends on how the easement is properly interpreted.
So let me ask a question. So if you increase the number on the plaza, are you going to reduce the other numbers? Because, I mean, you know, the number which is on the application now is going to be the number. It's not going to be flexible.
If that's something that the board will require, yes, we would agree to that.
We're specifically suggesting that came from Ted and endorsed by other people on the committee, certainly reducing the number on 50th Street.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear this. If you was
reducing the number on 50th Street, we talked about that.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Reducing the seats on 50th Street, we talked about that.
Yeah, but he's talking now about increasing the number on the plaza.
No, you asked me what are the limitations, and the truth is that those have to be studied. What we put was what is the most likely scenario, that we would be allowed to occupy that space, and in that space you could put that amount of tables and chairs.
Okay.
Now, it's also possible that we can occupy a few square feet more or less, and that if it's more, then the follow-up question was, I think, then would you agree to reduce the number of seats you can put on 50th Street if you want to add the streets on the plaza? I said, well, yes, sure.
Well, my point more specifically was that if you increase the seats on the plaza after the board has agreed, then you have to come back.
Oh, that goes without saying, yes.
If we approve a certain number and then you decide you want more, you definitely have to come back.
Right.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, just for clarity, before we vote, where we stand now, vis-a-vis the private property seats in the plaza and 50th Street, what are the total numbers we're looking at, one place versus the other? What are we voting on?
We don't know.
I don't think it's one versus the other. I think it's we wanted to get rid of the seating on 50th Street and let
Right.
him maintain the ones that he had in the inline space.
If I may, weren't you going to defer to the block association for the chairs and tables on the street? That was my understanding before.
But no, what we wanted to do is to have a straw man that we would vote for. And then after your discussion with the block association, you could come back with the block association and tell us if there is any change to whatever we have approved, so that you don't have to wait for another month to do the whole process.
Understood.
Okay?
We expect you to be meeting with the block association
Right.
towards the end of the month. And the full board will hear our recommendation is not until October 6th. So there'll be time in between, which is what we did with an applicant previous.
Understood. So I will follow up with the block association and confirm
wait.
my attendance.
No.
Wait a minute, we are not done.
Carrie, Tina?
Carrie.
Yeah, I just wanted to, maybe I'm gonna try to put this in a package and see if it's correct. The issue with meeting with the block association is in addition to the issue with the side street. So in order to get approval, you must meet with the block association before the full board. And we will hear what they say after you meet and make decisions at the full board based on that meeting.
Understood.
In addition to that, we would like you to reduce the number of tables on the street. I'm a little unclear if that's to 2 tops or to none. And it's not because of what the block association may say, it's because there's simply not enough space on the sidewalk to accommodate an outdoor sidewalk cafe. In addition to that, all outside dining must end at 10. There must be no amplified sound outside. So if you have live music inside or any kind of music inside, you have to have windows closed. So you can't hear anything from the street at any time. And the door with the alarmed door that leads to the staircase. If I'm forgetting something, let me know, but that's what I've heard so far.
That was a pretty good summary, Carrie. Pretty good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was 2 tops, right?
2 tops. That's what I thought.
We are willing to stipulate to all of that, of course. The only thing that I beg you to consider is the fact that the restaurant does need outside the space, and 2 tops seems to me too little for the restaurant. And there must be some design that would accommodate your concern, but would allow the restaurant to place tables outside.
So, sorry, what I should have said is that is not inclusive of whatever happens in the plaza itself, in the courtyard. So this is just on the street.
We're talking about the 2 tops on 50th Street.
The fact is that the street is not many tables, and depends on the easement, but that's what it is. The restaurant is counting more on the West 50th Street, and 2 tops seems for a restaurant of this kind, and you know how difficult it is to maintain a restaurant in New York, kind of difficult, just 2 tops. I just asked the board to consider that probably we can do something more for these investors.
Tina?
Actually, I wasn't prepared to respond to that. I was more prepared to respond to what Carrie was doing, which I really appreciate. You said no amplified music outside, but also in the stipulation, there'll be no DJ and no live music. And as Peggy mentioned before, there's many spots in your application that you did not answer. So I don't want
that, and I'm sorry if there are.
No, that's fine. Rather than take up time now, I mean, I could throw out the suggestion that you answer yes or no before the meeting, because some of these are important questions. I don't know how much the committee feels, but there are just a number of them.
I think that we bring those to your attention, and we would like answers before we have final resolution at the full board. Ted, you had your hand up and you brought it down?
Yeah, I would just have a question. So there's live music and DJ, right? Or there's not?
No, we seem to have agreed not to that.
No live music, no DJ.
Okay, I was just curious.
Okay. Do we have any language now? I mean,
So I think the sticking point is the two tops. And again, we'll just reiterate that I think the issue is the width of the sidewalk, the service aisle, and the fact that it's a residential street and a residential building.
It just occurred me something. I apologize, but
yeah,
there is an entrance to the restaurant on West 50th Street, so there is an aisle there.
I don't see the entrance on your drawing.
Maybe is not
There's
highlighted.
no entrance on your drawing. I was looking for it.
No, there is an end. There should be, and there certainly is the entrance.
So
there.
I tell you, if there is an entrance, it's even.
No. I'm not. Sorry, I'm not disputing what you are saying.
No. I'm telling you, if there is an entrance, it's even a bigger problem because they are all, tables and chairs in front of it.
There should be an entrance there, because there is one entrance on the plaza that opens to the bar basically, and the floor plan there is that after the bar you enter into this main hall. But the idea that I remember speaking with you is that there should be an entrance from the 50th Street as well.
Well, but look at your drawing. We are looking.
I'm going to.
We are looking at the document. So if we don't have the document right, because I mean, if you have an entrance on the street, then there is no way you can put those tables and chairs.
Well, you can put the tables on because there are two windows there that face West 50th. There's an entrance on one of them. The tables can stay next to the other. So.
Look, even the pictures don't show that.
I think let me make an intervention here, please. I'm aware of the time and what else we have on the agenda. I think we're gonna.
I think we need to postpone.
I agree. I
think we need to postpone. We don't have a plan that matches what everybody.
We have a lot of unanswered questions, physical questions, unanswered questions on the application, and I think we need to meet with the Block Association. And we would like to postpone till next month.
I think too, if I may, just to make sure that your application is complete so that when you come back, we can approve what you're asking for, because I think, we support this and we want it to happen, but we're not even sure what that 50th Street Sidewalk Cafe now really looks like. So we need a proper drawing.
So you will want me to appear before the full committee after speaking with the Block Association?
No, we want you to come back to us next month. We want you to meet the Block Association at the end of this month and then come back to us with your application complete.
Complete application.
And revised.
Revised diagrams, if there's a door, if there's not a door, whatever, but to show what actually exists, and then come back to us, not the full board, but come back to us in our October meeting.
That's the will of the committee.
And our October meeting is
the 11th.
On the 11th of October.
Inga and Ted.
I'm sorry, yes, Ted, and then Inga.
I just wanted to make one point. I looked online and there's a no standing sign for that street.
I know.
7 days a week from 7 a.m. to midnight. So there's no way they're going to give you approval for street seating.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Inga?
Yeah, I just want to, if they come back, if you decide to wait and come back, make sure you have that 3-foot service aisle along the tables that you want on the sidewalk. And I believe we typically have seating inside the restaurant and there are no seats or tables inside on this drawing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's a temporary drawing that they are.
So we need a permanent drawing.
Right, we can't, we technically can't make any advisory on it because we don't see the tables, and we also need the 3-foot aisle for servers to serve the outside cafe. So you need
the bar.
The tables, the chairs, the bar inside where every table's going to be, and you need the outside with the service, 3-foot service aisle.
And the door on 50th Street and its relationship to any proposed table.
If I may, I think you may want to talk to the landlord about the fact that you may want to use more of the plaza, a little more of the plaza. But
the problem with the plaza is not the land, or the problem with the plaza are the easements.
Right.
So there is an amount of the rules for access to the plaza are stricter actually than the open restaurants rules.
Sure.
Which I'm not an architect, I didn't design that, but the architect designed the floor plan based on the open restaurants rules.
Right.
Now you outlined an issue for the street, but I was going to assume that we were compliant when it comes to the sidewalk.
So you understand what we're saying in terms of the application is really not complete. We don't have the information that we need. There are some parts of the application that have not been filled out, completed. So we would like you to go over it and come back with more specific
Yeah,
drawings.
we definitely need the sidewalk tables along with the 3-foot aisle and then the rest. And the seating indoors and the bar in the restaurant. We need a picture of, you can hand draw it, every table with some chairs. That's typically what we need.
So you have a sense of what we were asking for.
Without taking more time of yours, but what questions in the applications were not complete? Because
We'll
this
get
is
that
really
to you.
surprise to me.
We'll get that to you.
We'll get that to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll see you in a month. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 17. 357 West 16th Street. Now.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You can, Terry.
Thank you. It's nice to see everybody again. This is a transfer application of an existing space called Noir. It is the same method of operation that's there now is going to continue. All the stipulations will stay in place. Operation of the premise is Monday and Sunday with a 2 a.m. close, Tuesday through Saturday with a 4 a.m. close. There are 16 tables and 122 seats. 2 bars without stools at them. There is a DJ. There is no outdoors. Security will be used, and they will operate pursuant to nightlife guidelines. The premises are already soundproofed in 2018-19 when the last operator went into this premise. I'll answer any other questions, and I believe I have with us also Alan Dada on this as well.
I see Inga, Christine.
Yeah, I think you just said 2 and 4. Is that correct? 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.?
That's correct. Those were the hours that the existing operator has right now.
I see on the previous ones, 12 and 4. Can someone tell me which one's correct?
And when was 12 a.m.? Just so I have the days.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 4 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We were told different hours, but obviously we will have to agree to stick to the previous hours that were there.
No,
That's
do
what
we have
the
the
previous tips say.
Okay.
You have the previous step. Inga.
Yeah. Noir Group, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the operators told us different hours, but that's
I have their steps in front of us.
okay. That's
Terry.
fine. You have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 12, and then you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 4 a.m.
4, yeah. I don't know why Sundays 4 a.m., but that's what the steps are.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Christine, thanks, Inga.
Yeah, clarification. So this is in the place which used to be called Tao, is it?
Noir.
Oh, it's not Tao.
This isn't a hotel. This is a hotel stay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, this is a hotel stay. It's not a standalone by itself.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think the name of that hotel, Terry, help me. What's the name of the hotel?
I got it. I have a question about the vestibule. I think it says, you've said that you are going to have an outdoor vestibule, a storm enclosure.
I don't believe that's correct, Christine. Hold on one second, please, while I just check the diagram. Because I believe it's an entrance right from the street with a, yeah, there isn't an outside vestibule. That's not correct. I'll
Okay,
change
so
that.
we'll have to fix that, okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
And
we'll-
then, are you going to have parties with the red ropes, etc.?
No, not red robes, but there are times where there might be a birthday party or, just like Cafe Noir has had, where there's been a retirement party or a birthday party or such, where a portion of the premise is used for that party and the rest of the premise is open. But
Okay.
no, not.
All right, it's just
velvet rope.
that in the past, we have had a lot of problem with the sidewalk obstructed by people waiting, lining, this and that.
We'll make sure that's taken care of. It's one of the reasons why we didn't want to do any outside area here. And
Right,
there's no outside area as part of this application.
okay, very good.
Theodore,
I just want to say the prior steps, I don't think it said it was closed at 12 a.m. It says that it was open from noon to 4 a.m. 7 days a week on the prior steps. It's not a.m., it's p.m.
Ah,
So
thank you.
it's 7 days a week. Yeah,
Oh, so that
Yeah.
was, so we were told the right thing then.
yeah. So they're actually asking for like lower hours during the week.
On those 2 days, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for that catch.
any other committee members? Anybody from the community, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Can I just get clarification then? The hours are staying the same and the only difference is we're changing the answer for storm enclosures, no storm enclosures. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Thanks.
Do I hear a
Motion to approve.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining? Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
everyone. Take care.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Next to last, sometimes called the penultimate, 657 West 57th Street, Look Cinemas.
Good evening. My name is Alyssa Yohe. I'm the attorney for the applicant, Look Cinemas. With me this evening are Brian Schultz. Brian is the president and chairman of Look Cinemas. Robert Thole, he's the CFO and general counsel. And Andrew Bucky, who's the vice president of development. Currently before you is an on-premise liquor license application for an 8-screen movie theater with a bar and restaurant and sidewalk cafe located at 657 West 57th Street. This is the former Landmark Theater space. Just a little bit of background about Look Cinemas. They were founded in 2020. They are a technology-first luxury cinema in which the entire guest experience relies on the company's platform. Guests are able to order, pay, and receive anything directly from their theater seat via their mobile phone. So there's no interruption to the theater experience. There's currently 12 Look Dine-In cinemas across the US. We have one location here in New York. It's at Dobbs Ferry, New York. They do hold a liquor license, beer, wine, and spirits for that space. This will be Look Cinema's first New York City location. Just a little bit more background. Brian is, who's with us this evening, he's an advocate for conscious capitalism, which emphasizes engagement over profits. They focus really on the community, and he aligns his business practices with his own personal philosophy. The more you give, the more you get. Look Cinemas creates jobs that pay living wages and provides a shared space for the community to come together. Look Cinemas partners with local nonprofits to help them raise money through film festivals and other types of events by lending auditorium space to community organizations. So Look Cinemas extends beyond just operating as a movie theater, but really incorporating itself as part of the community. The application before you is for the 8 movie theaters, as I said, theaters 1 and 2 have 40 seats each. Theater 3 has 50 seats. Theater 4 has 80 seats. Theater 5 has 176. Theater 6 has 169, and Theater 7 and 8 have 22 seats each. The bar restaurant area, which is at the front of the space, contains 9 tables and 31 seats at tables. There's 13 seats at the bar. There's just 1 service bar within the space. The total proposed occupancy of the interior of the premise, including the theaters and the bar and restaurant space, is 650 persons. The Sidewalk Cafe will have 7 tables and 22 seats at tables. Total occupancy of that Sidewalk Cafe is anticipated to be about 26 persons. It will obviously operate seasonally and will close by 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday and 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. All food and beverage service out to the Sidewalk Cafe will be via weighted service. And there will be that 3-foot wide serving aisle running down the length of the Sidewalk Cafe. And the perimeter of the sidewalk will be identified by barriers that's required by the liquor authority as well. So there'll be no standing space, and there will be heaters on the Sidewalk Cafe as well as umbrellas. As far as sound, other than your typical movie sound, there's just recorded music within the bar and restaurant space. No live music, no DJs. There's no dancing. They will host private and corporate events within the space and rent out auditorium space. The theater, bar, and restaurant will be open Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. We did reach out to all of the local block associations. We did not receive any responses back or requests to meet with anybody. And I just want to note the 500-foot rule is not implicated for this location. And we would note that there is a Montessori Child Care Center located in the same building, but because it is located in a building with multiple other tenants and the building is not used exclusively as a school, the 200-foot rule is not implicated here. We would open it up to any questions from the committee members at this time.
Did the previous movie theaters have an outdoor cafe as well?
They did not.
So this is something new on your part.
Yes, this is new.
Christine.
Yes, we are very happy that you are coming back as a movie theater. This is very exciting. So I have questions about the Sidewalk Cafe. You didn't show any dimensions here. And that would be helpful to really understand what is the length of the depths of the cafe related to the depths of the sidewalk. That would be really, really helpful.
Andrew, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I can add some off the top of my head. I could approximately, we would be about, I want to say 12 to 14 feet from the face of the building. And then we would run parallel roughly, I want to say 25 feet. I mean, we diagrammatically laid this out in accordance with the 3-foot service aisle running between the 2 tops and the 4 tops in our diagram, and would maintain that or adjust the temporary, containment rails for the seasonal use accordingly to maintain the proper spacing.
So how wide is the sidewalk?
I am guessing the sidewalk is 30 feet. I don't have that information in front of me. So we were basically going to take about 40 to 50% of the width so that we would maintain proper clearance for pedestrian traffic that's going by us to get by without any major obstruction.
So if you could send those details or a drawing with those details to us, that would be really helpful.
I can do that.
Before the full board. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Carrie, and then Tina and Theodore.
I just had a quick clarification on the hours for the Sidewalk Cafe that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said 11 p.m.
Friday and Saturday, 10 p.m. the remainder of the week.
10 and 11. These are the normal hours that we used to put for Sidewalk Cafe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nina.
Just quickly, did you, you submitted some photos, but did you put up notices outside of the building or on posts anywhere to let the residents know?
We did. In fact, I do have photographs of the notices that I can send to you that were posted around the perimeter of the property.
Okay, and then my last question is, you indicated that you're having storm enclosures. Is that true? What it said on page 6. We did.
No, it says no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at something else then.
But they say not at this time.
Not at this, okay.
Yeah, so it should say never.
Okay, can we agree on no storm enclosures?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Okay, thank you. Theodore.
I'm just reiterating what Christine said because I was looking at the sidewalk and typically one of the squares is about 4 feet, which means I would think that it would be 16 feet wide. So having a 4 top and a 2 top may make it under the 8-foot clearance that they would need. So I think Christine's suggestion is important to get that square footage of the actual sidewalk remaining.
We'll get, I can get the building manager to give us off of the exact measure. He can adjust.
No, what we need is your plan. I mean, the building manager is fine. You can do it.
No, we'll put the information. I'm just saying
We
want to
need
feel
a plan
verified
which
to
says
be
how
exact.
deep is the sidewalk cafe versus the sidewalk.
Yes, we will get that information. I was just stating, I don't have a survey with that dimension on it, but I will field verify it before we send anything to you.
Thank you.
And we'll need that information before the full board.
Yeah.
Nellie, when will we need it by?
I will need it by September 26th.
Not a problem.
And obviously the rule is that you're not supposed to use more than 50% of the sidewalk. So you know that rule, right?
Yes, and that's what we were striving to maintain.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion?
All right.
Motion to approve with stipulations.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining? Okay. See you at the full board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our final item on the agenda, number 19, 122 West 26th Street.
Good evening. It's been a long evening, but it's been entertaining if nothing else. My name is Martin Mailer. I'm an attorney that is representing 122 West 26th Street. It was formerly the corporate name was Wet Fondue, doing business as the Ainsley. The principal is Matthew Shandell, who's also at the meeting here tonight. The premises is going to be filing again for a liquor license. If you care to know, there's been a corporate fight within the existing corporation. Therefore, there is going to be a new application filed. It is a restaurant and it's a sports bar. Under its former stipulation, it did close at later hours, but it is now going to close Monday through Wednesday at midnight, Thursday at 1 a.m., Friday and Saturday at 2 a.m., and Sunday at 11 p.m. There's not going to be any outdoor seating. There isn't any outdoor storm enclosures or anything of that nature. There are no windows that are going to open. And it has been an establishment that's been open for over 14 years. I gladly answer any questions you may have. And if need be, the principal will also answer any questions you have. So if you do have any questions, let me know.
Could you just clarify, you had said that there was internal conflict and there's going to be a new application, or is this the new application?
When we say new, technically, any application that goes before the New York State Liquor Authority is a new application. This one would qualify as a transfer. However, the license has already been surrendered. So it's more of a new application than it would be a surrender.
Kerry.
this may be out of order, but there are an awful lot of letters here that, from the community members that are opposed to this application. I don't know, Bert, do we want to hear from the community before we ask our questions?
Do you have any questions? I mean, I'm aware that in many, many letters, and many, many people have voiced a very strong sentiment about the operation.
Before we go to that, I have a clarification. Can I ask? May I ask that?
The application?
Out of turn. No.
Clarification of the application? Or?
Yeah, about the application, it says, I don't know whether that's what you said, but it says operation midnight. This is, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Okay, sorry, I'm taking that back.
Okay, Ted, and then Tina.
I just had the same question. When is it opening, the hours? And it says for music, yes, yes, yes. So the hours are the same. It's closing at midnight, but when is it opening?
All right, it will open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 5 p.m. And Friday at 5 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m.
Tina, did you have your hand up?
That was my question. I had no idea the opening hours.
No, I apologize for that. I noticed that. That's
Carrie, and then
Sorry,
I'd like to hear from
yes,
the-
sorry if I missed this, but what, is there a security plan here?
there is an existing security plan. The operator, Mr. Shandell, intends to operate the premises in a similar fashion to what was there before. There will be security in the premises, and there'll be security on the perimeter, and they'll be licensed, and will make sure that order is maintained both inside and outside of the premises.
I ask because there are videos that are attached as well from the community members that show it doesn't really look like security is maintained. So do you have that plan that you can include with your application?
You want one submitted, one will be submitted. But I saw one tape, and what I saw, or one video, and what I saw in that video were a number of people waiting online. They didn't seem to be unruly. They didn't seem to be loud. They were just waiting to get in. That's what I saw. And
Yeah,
if I may, what it
we're
was
not
in
looking,
connection.
we're not looking at the same videos.
Well, I only saw one, and you know,
Okay.
unless I can see the video, I can't comment.
But
More than one video.
I would ask for this security plan to be part of the application, please. Thank you.
One can be submitted as early as tomorrow. If the concern is for what is going on while people are, first of all, it is my understanding that it is a day crowd, in the sense that what happens on a weekend, especially on a Saturday, this establishment has a great deal of alumni from Alabama University that converges on the place because they know that the Alabama game will be shown inside the establishment. And there's a lot of charitable work that goes on in terms of when they do show up. So like I said, the video that I saw just showed a crowd waiting to get in, not being unruly, not yelling and not doing anything. But again, I cannot comment on something.
I don't think
I
it's
haven't
time
No
to
one is
defend
contesting
anything
what
yet.
you said, what you saw in your video. I think Carrie is talking about another video. Ted, and I'd like to hear from the community.
So I'm a little confused, and I just wanted to get some clarity. So was this the same operator that have Hospitality Alliance on 45th Street prior? And they're asking for to transfer the liquor license there?
Yeah.
I don't, Matthew, would you answer that?
Yeah, what is Hospitality Alliance?
Or not Hospitality Alliance, I mean Southern Hospitality.
Southern.
No, we had taken over Southern Hospitality in the fall of 19.
Yeah.
Opened for about 2-3 months and then closed before COVID, or right as COVID hit, never reopened.
I think what's going to happen in the backlash you're going to get from the people is how it was run during COVID.
It
where
wasn't
they-
us. We had surrendered the lease in February, like the first week of March. I can provide that information.
I think that might be worrisome, and it's a good thing that I'm bringing that up because
Yeah.
a live DJ on the street, and it was a big
Yeah.
news.
We had surrendered the lease before that.
Okay, great.
They went back to the prior operator, which was Southern Hospitality.
Okay.
But I can, that's documented in fact. I can send you that.
Okay. Nellie, do we have members of the community?
Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
Yes, there's three people with their hands raised. The first person is Susan.
Susan.
Hi. Thank you for listening. I with the 26th Street Block Association, and I am vehemently opposed to this applicant. The Ainsworth has been a problem since it opened in 2009. We've had numerous meetings with Matt and the Ainsworth over the years. They were in violation of their stipulations from the very beginning, which included no outside promoters, no DJs or live music, and that they needed to have a sound engineer. None of those things happened. They had outside events from this very start. They've had DJs, and there was definitely no sound engineer ever consulted. This place has just been out of control from the very beginning. I believe that they had an event even this past weekend. I think that's what the videos that you're seeing. They have events throughout the year. The noise is all day long because sports events are all day long, all year long. They have huge crowds outside. And it attracts, a very young, mostly male, mostly inebriated crowd that has just wreaked havoc on our block the whole time. So I just beg of you to deny this applicant. Thank you
May I
so
have
much for
specific
listening.
instances of what you're talking about? It's my understanding.
I'd like to hear from other members and then you can respond.
I'm sorry. Here, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Next, we have Cameron.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, committee members. Thank you so much for listening to the residents. My name is Cameron Hadavi. I live in the 26th Street block, 150 West 26th Street. I've been living here for about 20 years. I have a family and a 6-year-old son that I'm trying to raise in this neighborhood. I was in the very original meeting that Ainsworth applied for its application, where the owner very nicely and quietly applied for a fondue restaurant. And shortly after that, this turned into a 14-year nightmare. And I want to repeat that, a 14-year nightmare in our block. Practically, I cannot think of almost any day that something was going on at this location. And the evenings were unruly crowds, people waiting in line, mostly drunk, ready to party, shouting, smoking, blocking our sidewalks. And I had to raise the son through this. And also, that's just the nighttime. That's just the beginning. And then after hours, about 2 o'clock in the morning, with all the traffic they generated, all the parking problems, all the congestions that is mostly related to this restaurant, at 2 o'clock in the morning, then we had to deal with drunk people screaming and waking us and our children up in many nights. And they were clearly coming from that side of the street. I even live on the west side and they were on the east side. I can't even imagine what the people on the east side of this street went through for so many years. The next day after that, we were dealing with the storm that was left behind. Trash, rats, broken bottles everywhere, where my child runs and plays and I take him to school every day. A lot of human waste and mess that was left behind. And regardless of how many times we have come in front of I remember twice, or at least once I was involved, but the committee talking to the owners, nothing was done. And they said we added security, and yes, they did. But for the chronic crowd and unruliness that was going in this place, that was just a drop in the bucket. It didn't help us in any way as far as trying to control the storms that we were constantly dealing with in our neighborhood. Ainsworth has become a symbol and a definition of bad operators. forever. I know that this has come up in many committee meetings that I have attended, and this name comes up over and over again about what kind of a nightmare they have caused for the residents here. And I'm just going to finish with this. I'm sure there's other people that are going to speak about to this end. But one thing that consistently comes up is that our neighborhood has a disproportionate number of liquor licenses. And this comes out on every meeting that I have attended, and that's admitted to by many of the committee members themselves. And this is a chance for the committee to take a very huge black eye out of this neighborhood and reduce the number of liquor licenses and do something about this disproportionate number of liquor licenses that we got that has completely degraded the texture of our neighborhood. The neighborhood is congested, it's stressed. We are dealing with a lot of homeless issues, drunk people, rowdiness, and it is really time to do something about it. Same as Susan, I beg you, we beg you to just not grant the liquor license to this establishment. And if they want to, I know that one of the concerns is you cannot have empty spaces and you want to have developed neighborhoods, bring a nice restaurant and hold them to it. We would love to have a nice restaurant in this place, but no more bars, please. Thank you so much for listening.
Next, we have James.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I guess my screen is not up, but I will just continue. Over the years, the Ainsworth has been a benchmark for egregiously bad behavior. The only establishment that has come close was the El Bastardo on 8th Avenue, which was denied a recommendation for a license renewal by CB4. The behavior of the Ainsworth is legendary. It is known to CB5, the 13th precinct, and every establishment that has come before CB5 for a liquor license, as in will state, we will not be another Ainsworth. The management of the Ainsworth has shown absolutely zero interest in addressing the complaints and concerns of the community. CB4 and the 13th precinct and the SLA, they have two violations, one for a $1,000 fine and another one for a $10,000 fine. The stipulations in their liquor license agreement have never been met. To the management, they don't exist. Matt Schinzel promised our community a family-friendly fondue restaurant. What we got was a hybrid sports bar nightclub event space. That's their words, with DJs, light shows, ear-splitting music, enormous crowds, and violent, drunken free-for-alls. In conclusion, there is nothing that the Ainsworth can say or has done that would lead me to believe that this behavior will not continue into the future. As a matter of fact, they have given every indication that it will continue. As far as the videos, I took most of those videos, and I have witnessed brawls in front of the Ainsworth that not only block traffic on 26th Street, but block traffic on 6th Avenue with literally 200 people involved in a melee. There have been stabbings. There have been, the police response to this place is enormous. This place is a nightmare. This place, as I said at the beginning, is the benchmark for egregious behavior and is known everywhere just for that. I would like to thank the board for their time and consideration. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Richard.
Hi, can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you now, Richard.
Thank you. So, yeah, everything that you've heard, I can disagree with none of it. I wrote the board. I know that you have my letter on file. Thank you for accepting that and reading that. I would say that the reputation of New Yorkers is such that when people, when an agency gets a letter, there's probably 40 people that didn't write. When 311 gets a phone call, that means somebody was woken up, got out of bed, and had to take the time, okay, let me go to the phone or let me go to the computer, however that goes. You can imagine with the number of complaints and details that you've got, that the number that you haven't got far, far exceeds that. I will recall the first time, I remember when Mr. Shandell applied in front of this board many years ago, because there was a club that preceded that. And he made the case, well, you know, I'm not like that. I forget what the name of it was. He can tell you. But he gave you assurances, he gave the neighborhood assurances in front of you that that was not going to happen again. They were really bad. This was worse. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Mark.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'll be very brief. A lot of what's been said already was what I would say, so I second everything that my other community members have voiced so far. I live on the same block, the same building as Mr. Hadavi, who spoke. A couple of things that I think are worth noting over the recent, first, the period of time when Ainsworth was open during COVID, they displayed some behavior that I think is illustrative of how they just are not going to change. They had tables on the street. This is a very, very small area of street that they actually have in front of them. They had tables on the street such that you had to navigate through, barely making it through that street. And then they had a sidewalk shed past the bike lane. We have a bike lane on the street, so there's bikes always zipping by. And so you would have to put yourself in peril just to try to get by during that period of time. They also had outdoor televisions with amplified sound playing to the shed football games during the day, which I couldn't believe was actually happening on our block. Then the shed was abandoned when they closed down, and that shed became a place for garbage and refuse, and they just abandoned it. Like it looked like the whole Ainsworth was abandoned for a while, and thank goodness that finally got taken away. But that just shows you that they don't have a concern for the people who live on this block. A couple of things I would want to highlight, and I took one video this weekend because I was surprised to see them open. They had as their attorney mentioned, they had an Alabama football game event, ropes on the street. It's again a very, very narrow area, and the music was blasting so loud. The video I was taking, you could hear the music coming through those windows like it was outdoors. I don't know what kind of sound plans they have, but they are certainly not sufficient. A couple things on the application I'd like to just highlight. They say that they keep the sidewalk clear of all items or instructions, including sandwich boards. That is not true. In fact, on Saturday, they had a sandwich board. It said, "Welcome to the Ainsworth private event." They also had their security on the street with the ropes and people queuing up on the street, whether they're being calm during the day. That I didn't see anything out of the ordinary in terms of queuing up, but they taking up our entire block, and you can't go on the side. You can't go off the sidewalk because we have a bike lane. Will they keep the doors closed? They don't actually even answer that question, but they don't. They keep those doors open. You can hear the music blaring when you walk by, and even with those doors closed, you can hear the music blaring. Will they be hosting private promotional or corporate events, they only put corporate. That's not true. The sign actually said private event. It was for alumni of Alabama. They have those kinds of events all the time. So there's not just corporate events being hosted. So I think they've already displayed within the period of time that this application is pending, a disregard for the neighbors on this block, disregard for even what the stipulations in the application that they put in state. And I just wanted the board to be aware of that. And again, appreciate your attention to this matter.
Next, we have Andrea. You're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello, can you
Yes.
hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I live at 109 West 26th Street, which is diagonally across from the Ainsworth, and you can see the Ainsworth and the street in front of it from our windows. The Ainsworth is located across the street from the Holiday Inn, which at times has also had significant bar activity, and also across the street from the back door bar. So there have been times where all these three venues have accumulate masses of people, like into the night, blocking the street, getting into fights. And there was a period of time where this was like happening every weekend, so that, you know, the people concerned on the block would go out and prepare to take these videos every single weekend, and send them to the community board and particularly to the state liquor authority. I just want to point out that they have no sound mitigation whatsoever. They have French doors across a glass front, which does not block sound. They keep them open. They were supposed to put curtains up to block all these screens that were visible from the sidewalk. So would they put up the see-through curtains so that people gather to watch these games on the sidewalk? And this is what they want. We've also tracked, I don't have examples in front of me, how they advertise what their events are. And they are basically advertised as come and be, you know, drunk and out of control and have a good time. And that's what's happened, you know, drunken, out of control free-for-alls. And I agree with everything that the previous speakers have said. I just wanted to reaffirm that with my own observations. Thank you.
There's no one else.
Okay, thank you, Nellie. Just for the members of the committee, I just want to clarify when people were talking about Community Board 5. This happens to be 26th Street is the boundary between us and 5. The south side of the street where the Ainsworth is within Community Board 4. The north side of the street is Community Board 5. Inga, Christine?
I've been on this committee for, I don't remember how long. I have heard residents complain about this since inception. I cannot vote in favor of it, and I would advise everyone to seriously consider denial. It's a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. I was chair of ACES for a few years as well. It is a nightmare. We have had nothing but complaints and still complaints. It's never changed. That's it.
Christine? Theodore?
Yes, I want to say the same thing. When I became the chair of the board, one of the big issues was the establishment, which were not following the rules and which were creating a lot of complaints and a lot of grief to the neighborhood. And so there were not so many of them, maybe 4 or 5, but the Antwerp was one of the most prominent. And Inge knows I must have spent personally hundreds of hours sitting down, trying to figure what to do, etc., to no effect, because the owner of this establishment is not to be trusted. It just, whatever he says, he doesn't do. So, you know, any stipulation, you heard the curtains. I remember that because we said, okay, why don't you put curtains so that the people cannot look from outside? And what he did is he put transparent curtains. That is the epitome of what this applicant is. He's going to do it his way, and that's it. And I think that's enough. This applicant is not welcome. As far as I'm concerned, this applicant is not welcome in our community, and I recommend that you vote fair and square against it.
Okay.
I guess I just wanted to get a little bit more color. So this person is currently in this space and has operated there in the past, or is this a new applicant running a former business that had these issues?
The same applicant.
The same guy, different.
So is he there now running it? Does he still have a license there?
I understand that he has a day license to run.
The way I understand it, Ted, and you can correct me, is that the last couple of activities that people are referring to over the weekend, there were special events with one-time licenses.
So this isn't a new application. He's asking for extended
Right.
hours.
No,
No.
no, it's a new application.
It's a new application, it's asking for less hours, not
Reduced
more
hours.
hours.
It's the same operator, new application. As my attorney stated, there was a partnership dispute where their license was surrendered, so we were getting a new license. Same owner, same location, except reduced hours, just to clear that up.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, do you have any statement you'd like to make, Martin?
First of all, I appreciate what everybody has said, but with all due respect, what are they talking about in the sense of an ongoing problem? When was the last time the Ainsworth caused a problem? I mean, can anybody answer that question?
Martin, that's irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant.
No, it is irrelevant. Let me tell you why. Because
excuse
me, let me finish. You ask a question, I have the answer. And the answer is, when was the last time? Probably the last time that it was open. Somebody just right now told you that last weekend, the noise was incredible.
Exactly.
Just the last weekend. So yes, the last weekend, people are now in front of us telling us that the last weekend was bad. So you have your answers.
And I think there's also, we're talking about
a
track record of untrustworthiness.
We were
a track record, I'm sorry, Rita, a track record of saying, I will do this.
Yeah.
And not do it.
Correct.
Over a whole, Christine, I don't remember how many years ago you were chair of the board. But
This is like 10 years ago. I mean, I don't
4
know.
or 5 chairs ago, right? So
And
that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, ACES didn't have an education component, so we were really quality of life.
Quality of
this
life.
was our main. We spent so much time. We had no time for arts. We had no time for anything because all we were doing was hearing complaints about restaurants and bars. And this was our number one for a very long time.
Again, I understand what you're saying. I also understand that particular block is highly commercial with a number of establishments on it. Yeah.
Well, obviously there are people living there. You see them, right? Just because they are commercial doesn't mean that the people living there should be in hell.
Correct.
That's not.
I'm not suggesting that they should live in any hell, but I think what is happening here is that the Ainsworth, which is now before you, is going to be the whipping boy, as was stated by one of the complainants. There are too many bars on the block. There's too much noise on the block. But yet it is this establishment that's being singled out. And I submit, wait, let me finish. I let you finish. I submit that because this happens to be the establishment that's now before you, this is the one that's getting the ire of everyone. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think.
If that were true, you're right. It's not fair. But I don't think this is being singled out because it's the one before us now. And if somebody else had come, we'd have the same reaction. This applicant has a record, created a record for the last 10 years, saying this and doing something else. This is not a trustworthy applicant. This is what sense I get. Okay? And
again, with all, I'm sorry.
This applicant is not being bullied. It's not being spotlighted. Okay? Because this has we're talking about this specific applicant with this specific record.
May I comment on that? I
have some more people on the committee.
Oh.
Okay, and then Kerry.
I just wanted to reiterate, I think the problem is that almost every stipulation that they said they were going to do, they didn't. And it's the same operator. If it was just, you know, a partnership and the other guy was operating and you threw him out and it was a new business owner, it might be different. But I think my consensus is, and I'm not going to speak for the whole board, that this is going to be denied. So I would like to move forward, and I don't know if I have to wait or not, but I'd like to put a motion on the table to deny.
I second.
Second.
Oh, well, Terry, I didn't have to call on you then.
That was what I was going to say.
You're muted.
My phone is ringing. I didn't want you to be bothered by that phone. So there's a motion before us.
And a second.
And a second. Okay, could you reiterate the motion, Ted?
A motion to deny approval.
Simple. Okay.
And I would add to that any event or day, pass be denied as well in our recommendations.
Correct.
Wait, what is that, Christine? I don't know what that is.
It's like an event permit. I mean, Ted, what is it called? It's an event for a day.
I'm not sure the name of it.
Yeah, it's something like that. So you can ask for a
special
number of days.
Frank had looked into it, and Frank found out that there was specific applications just unique to the day.
Right.
Right? Frank has the terminology and knows what it is.
So I don't want to derail the thing. So we have a motion.
So I think I agree that we should include that
friendly amendment.
That detail.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? And abstain. Okay.
All right.
I thank you for your time.
It's only 9:08. We're almost back to the way we used to be. It's not 11.
When was that? When was that?
We used to have meetings until 11 o'clock.
Yeah. 9 o'clock is early.
9 o'clock is pretty good.
I'm satisfied with 9 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, now I just have some dinner. Okay, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Be well.